Hey, it's Tim. Happy New Year, and it's 9:15, and we're looking at a quiet but robust start to the year. And remember, I've pointed out I do think that the fund flows and the allocation into EM first quarter 2011 is going to be record territory. So we're underway. Asia traded very well last night, but the move in Eastern Europe for those markets that are open, notably Turkey, is fantastic. Remember, Russia's closed till the 11th, so it's a very quiet time there, although people are making markets, and I do know that those stocks are going higher. Poland, Czech Republic, a lot of the move here in currency land is you should focus on the Turkish lira, which is booming, the South African rand, which is all the way down to 660, and a place where a lot of people think it looks actually quite expensive. So keep an eye on that. The currency's just been crazy strong, and in Brazil at 165 in the real, you also have another place where I think their central bank comes in and does something. So Brazil's opening up nicely today, up about 1%. The currency strength is a little bit more of a tailwind for you, but I do think that that's something that's going to rear its ugly head yet again. The China numbers, while you were celebrating New Year's Eve, came out a little weaker on the PMI. That actually may be a slight deceleration trend that the market likes because, again, the inflationary pressures there are high, but it's the first fall in 5 months. The non-manufacturing PMI, meanwhile, came out quite good. I do believe that if you see fantastic PMIs, which we did see out of Europe this morning, 60.7 versus 60.1 expected, 57 in Germany, and 57.1 across the entire EC region versus 56.8 expected. Europe and U.S. takeover for decelerating China is very positive for everybody, and that includes China. So watch that. The auto sales numbers out in the States tomorrow will obviously pay a lot of attention to what's going on with Ford and GM, but I do think it's a time to take a look at the global auto sales trade. You're going to have the fastest sales growth since cash for clunkers. Consumers are paying more. The story in the U.S. is what it is, but the global story where you've got people like Fiat, Volkswagen, Daimler really outperforming, something I think you have to take a look at. Toyota and Honda, I think, are probably the sleepers here and aren't going to get as much attention because of the weakness in Japan, but I do think that those are places you really have to look. And so, as we had a couple stats out this morning, Turkey's CPI was weaker. That's certainly very good, and I highlight again that Turkish stocks were about 16, 17% weaker from their November peak, and I expect that underperformance is going to be turned into an outperformance. It's certainly, I think, the most interesting valuation story, especially with the currency just way too weak here. And that's a place where people are going to focus. Brazil, the inflation numbers this morning, last week, and also some comments this morning by the ministry that they do see some easing in those pressures. Very positive for valuation story that Brazil also has lagged and looks like a big allocation destination. So keep a note on that. Finally, in Russia, I think there's a number of different calls of domestically driven stocks and that part of the recovery. Certainly tailwinds from higher oil and multinational M&A, the World Cup. These are all things that are going to have people focused on Russia as BRIC allocations increase. Russian equities have really begun to perform, and I think they will outperform again in this environment. So good start to the year. Lots going on, even though a number of these markets remain closed. Be careful on technicals, because I do think that there's a number of places where things look very heated, where technicals meet New Year allocations. For consistency's sake, it's really a tough call. Thanks.